I still remember the day so vividly, even though it happened years ago now. It was a moment when my husband came to me and said, "Hey, I've rearranged the kitchen for you." Imagine my pleasure to hear this statement that I, the person who does 98% of the cooking, had someone else rearrange my kitchen for me. How special, right? In fact, he took great pride in telling me how he had moved all of my spices to a drawer, the second drawer down, instead of in the cupboard right next to where I cook. I was so excited by this news. Okay, yes, I know I'm being a little bit sarcastic, but truly, I do remember this day so clearly, even though it happened years ago. And in that moment, even though I'm usually a conflict avoider, to tell you the truth, in that moment, I was so irritated, I was so frustrated, frankly, I was aghast that he would have the nerve to rearrange my kitchen and move all the spices to the second drawer down in the kitchen. I was so aghast that I felt myself revving up. You know, have you ever felt that feeling? Revving up to let him have it and say, "What are you doing? Why would you think in a million years that you should rearrange the kitchen where I do all the cooking?" It was on the tip of my tongue to say that. Oh, I wanted to say that. And I might have actually communicated my displeasure without words, but thank goodness the Lord kind of stopped me in that moment. I try to check in with the Lord every time I'm feeling that stuff come, bubbling to the surface, where you feel like you just need to let someone know that you're disappointed with them, that you're frustrated with them, that you're angry with them. You know that feeling when it's just bubbling up and you're going to let loose with some words that you might later regret. Well, in that moment, I sensed that thing coming, right? And the Lord stopped me and said, "Debbie, pick your battles wisely. Is this really the hill to die on? Is this really where you want to confront your husband and make him feel like a jerk and a failure for doing this thing that he thought he was doing to benefit you? Is this really the battle that you want to engage in?" And I realized at that moment, no. I mean, really, in the scheme of things, does this really matter? I mean, maybe I should save those times of confrontation for something truly serious, where a sin has been involved, maybe even a pattern of sin, where there's maybe been, for instance, in a marriage, there might be verbal abuse, or a husband who's constantly looking at pornography, or a husband who's an absentee husband and not even engaged with the family whatsoever. Maybe I should save those times of confrontation for something truly serious, truly sinful. This was not a sin, although maybe it should be like the 11th commandment, "Thou shalt not rearrange the kitchen without the cook's permission." But anyway, this was not a sin. And so I learned in that moment to pick my battles wisely. In fact, this is biblical. Proverbs 12:16 says, "Fools show their annoyance at once, but the prudent overlook an insult." So let's be prudent, ladies. Let's pick our battles wisely. You know that saying, "If mom ain't happy, ain't no one happy"? It is so true. Both parts of that, right? I mean, it's true that a mom, the way that she is feeling frustrated or happy, really affects the rest of the home. And so let's think about carefully, do we really want to create a battle zone in our home every time our husband or our children disappoint us in the slightest way or do something that kind of frustrates us? Let's save those moments where we really need to confront someone in our home for something truly out of bounds, truly sinful. Let's pick our battles wisely.